Hello, my name is Zoran Kirinic. I work in primary school Glina in Glina, Croatia. Today I'm going to share with you information on how to use a seminar created within Erasmus Plus K2 partnership called WIMI. Now I'm going to share my screen with you. The topic of WIMI partnership is climate change, which is considered one of the most important topics today. With these seminars, we would like to help teachers and other educational professionals on helping students learn more about climate change. The title of the seminar is The Role of Education in Climate Change Awareness, Building Resilient Informed Future Leaders. At the beginning of the seminar, we prepared icebreaker activity called the Name Game. It is a very simple icebreaker that can help teachers, especially if they don't know each other's, connect and get to know a little bit better. At the beginning, they stand in the circle and a facilitator starts by saying their name, followed by an adjective that begins with the same letter as their name. For example, Creative Carol. The next person repeats the previous name and then adds their own. After the ice-breaking activity, we prepared one statement from former US President Barack Obama that says, "We are the first generation to feel the effect of climate change and the last generation who can do something about it." We can offer participants to think a little bit about this statement and discuss it. The idea is that we really don't have much time and that we really need to start working immediately, especially with students regarding climate change. There are some objectives that we set for this seminar. They are curriculum innovations for climate change education, the importance of interdisciplinary approaches in teaching climate science, utilizing service learning to connect students with environmental issues, engaging parents and community in climate education efforts, and digital resources and tools for teaching climate change. This seminar consists of 5 parts that are related to the objectives. So now I'm going to present you all of them and explain some things that might be useful for facilitators who are going to use this seminar in working with teachers or other educational professionals. Part 1 is titled Curriculum Innovations for Climate Change Education. In this part, at the beginning, we are trying to see why climate change education is very important and also the goals of climate change education, which are raising awareness, building knowledge, fostering critical thinking, encouraging action, and supporting policy development. Also, in this part, we are trying to see why is it important to study climate change and how has climate change education changed over times. In Croatia, climate change is part of national curriculum. In 2019, Croatian Ministry of Education introduced sustainable development as one of 7 important cross-curricular themes within national curriculum. So here we are seeing how we can implement it in everyday teaching process. I believe that all national curriculums in schools across Europe have or sustainable development or climate change as part of their national curriculums, so you can present it to the participants of the seminar. Also, in this part, we are trying to see why teaching climate change in classroom is important, and also some examples of good practices that can be used in classrooms. There are several links which facilitators can check and prepare for the seminar. At the end, we have a picture that explains the importance of environmental education. So this can be a good example for discussion at the end of part 1. Part 2 is titled The Importance of Interdisciplinary Approaches in Teaching Climate Science. At the beginning, we see that climate change is often confined to science class or classes related to STEM, but it should be considered an interdisciplinary issue that spans subjects and grade levels. Here you can show to the participants example of good practice as introduction video to the topic that can help see why climate change topic shouldn't be only related to STEM area, but also taught in different subjects at school. Also, here we address problems faced by teachers and what are the most common ones. Also, we are trying to see what are the benefits for students to hear about climate change in all their classes, and how can we actually implement it in a classroom. At the end, we show and present 8 ways to teach climate change in almost any classroom. So here is a link that facilitators can prepare, and also it's something for participants to think about and to see how they can use it in their schools. Also, we have examples of good practices, how to integrate climate education into different subjects in everyday school timetables. So this is also some good examples, and it can be used for final discussion at the end of part 2. Part 3 of this seminar is service learning. Service learning is an educational approach where a student learns theories in the classroom and at the same time volunteers and engages in reflection activities to deepen their understanding of what is being taught. Service learning is another way that helps students learn more easily. So here we have some examples, and also there is a video that you can show to the participants that helps them understand more how service learning can be used in everyday learning process, and also what are the stages of that process. Also, here are some examples how service learning can be related to climate change education. And of course, there are some examples of good practices that can be implemented in schools. There are two videos that can be shown to the participants, and of course, then they can discuss the possibilities and maybe also brainstorm some ideas how to use it. Part 4 is titled Engaging Parents and Community in Climate Education Efforts. As we all know, not only within the climate change, but with many other topics, the parental involvement is very important. So here are some key elements how parents can be involved and why it is important that that process is an active one and ongoing during the whole school year. Also, we can see how students can benefit from parents' involvement in school everyday life, how it positively influences children's behavior, also how it benefits teachers, and we also can see some examples of acts how parents can participate in addressing climate change. One important thing in this part 4 are community science projects. They are important tool in teaching and addressing climate change. Here we explain to the participants why community science projects are important and also what would be teacher role in implementing community science projects in everyday learning and teaching process. At the end, we have some good examples of community science projects that can be seen. So here we offer several links for facilitators to go through and maybe give some good examples. At the end, it's possible to give participants 10-15 minutes to maybe create a small idea for a community science project that they can implement in their schools. Last part, number 5, it's about digital tools. We know that digital tools are software and online resources that help people do many tasks easily. So in this part, we are trying to see what are the benefits of using technology as a tool in the classroom. Also, we are giving some good examples of digital tools and resources, so facilitators can go through some of them and prepare the most interesting ones to present to the teachers attending a seminar. This is the presentation that we created within the work package 4. I hope that you liked it and that from this presentation you can use a lot of good examples, good practices that can be implemented in everyday teaching. Now I'm going to stop sharing my screen. At the end, I would like to inform you that within this partnership, we created altogether 12 seminars and webinars that can be implemented in everyday teaching. So I invite you all to check our project website, www.wimiproject.eu. On the website, you can find all seminars and webinars, but also you can find a lot of more materials that can be implemented in schools, in teaching process, in working with students. So it doesn't have to be only teachers. It can be different educational professionals who can use these materials to address the climate change topic. As I said at the beginning, it is a very important topic that we need to think about. And of course, at the time, I feel that working with students and addressing the topic from an early age can have a very good and positive effect. Thank you for watching and goodbye.